Hey everyone, a new member has sent in a question which I'm going to dive into. First of all, for anyone using the system, the first place of call is the YouTube TV, Pro Trader TV. Okay, check it out. There is video there on pretty much every aspect of our scans and the system. However, there's always going to be questions that are not covered in here. And if anyone emails support@protrader.com.au, I will always punch out a video to help when I get the time. Okay, so let's dive into the particular question. This member wants to scan for a stock that's above its 50 exponential moving average. Okay, so let's just go into scans. Let's go to indicators and events, and I've clicked 50 above the 50 exponential. You can put whatever moving average you're in. You can select simple, weighted, above, below, crossed above, crossed below, blah blah blah. Okay. And he also wants to look at a stock that's on balance volume has risen. Okay, now go into events, on balance volume, and it's pretty vague. On balance volume's risen, like how much do you want it to rise? 10%, 20%, 30% over the last 2 days, 10 days, 20 days, 50 days, 100 days. That is up to you to play around with. Okay, it's impossible for me to know how sharp you want that rise to be, but I've just put it is 10% above the level of, say, let's just put 15 bars ago. 15, right, it makes sense. But you play around with that until you find the value you want. Now, I've added in here within 5% of the last 60 period high, just so we find stocks that haven't broken out and they're still kind of lingering a little bit, okay? Now, this is just the initial scan to do, then we can do further scans on top of it, right? So to nail it down a little bit. So then you go to, let's just scan the ASX. Obviously, the filters you put in here are really gonna impact how many results you find, okay? I always select match selected events and indicators in combination because you want everything to happen. And then I've just put 100,000 for the volume. But if you put that at 0, you're going to find a lot more stocks. You put it at 5 million, you're going to find a lot fewer stocks, okay? Let's do the scan. All right, here are the results on the right. We have 63 results. Okay, that's cool. 63 doesn't take very long to scan through. You can put your play thing here at, say, 1 or 1.5 times. You can click play and it will just play through it, okay, here. Let's say you want to nail that down to a few less stocks, because the next part of the question is I want to find the stocks that are also either high lows on the daily time frame or ascending triangles. Now, this is where you can scan results. So my favorite way to do this is go into scans, press Davis boxes, do a general Davis box, just 3, 50 period high, 3 top confirmation, 3 bottom confirmation, tick any box. Pretty much have no filters because we've already filtered in the last scan. Go into scan type, okay, and click scan results. Okay, so you want to scan your last result. Go back in here and just find what your most recent scan was. So that's going to be this one, all right? Let's just check, yep, that's my last one. And you scan the results that we just had. So let's do that. Now we've got 14, okay? And we've got only stocks that have kind of basing away in a Davis box. So they're obviously in uptrends. Now, are these ascending triangles? No, not all of them, of course. It's a lot harder to do specific scans for ascending triangles. You can play around with it. You can go into our pattern events. You can press ascending triangle and you can scan the watch list. But scanning for ascending triangles, it looks for very exact data points, right? So the stock has to hit the exact price point 3 times. Now, in the real world, sometimes it's a few ticks off, okay? And that's why this Davis scan is so brilliant, because it will nail it down. And then you can scroll through this, okay? And what this scan has really done is found you stocks in incredibly strong uptrends that have paused and are now basing before potentially starting their next leg upwards, okay? You also obviously could have just scanned through that last watch list that had 64 results that had 64 stocks. You would have found a lot more in there and potential setups. The system is kind of never ending. You can play around with it all day long and forever, and you're always going to learn more stuff. But I hope that answers the question. Play around with it, hit me back if it doesn't. Always happy to punch more out. Take care, everyone. Cheers.